2016, when the Anglophone crisis started as a peaceful protest, Minister Paul Atangani, at the time before he became Minister of Territorial Administration, warned, and he said that there are reports that people are being sponsored in order to make sure that they destabilize Cameroon. At the time, many Cameroonians laughed at him and thought he was just blowing hot air, but he had an insight as to what the situation will hold. In the streets of the northwest and southwest region, many called him names, and he said if this moves to what the people are planning, the two regions will have it difficult in terms of their economy, and they will be badly affected, and thus called on collaboration between members of the two regions to see how they can dialogue peacefully and resolve the impasse that was penning the teachers and the lawyers within the northwest and the southwest region. And he said the government of Cameroon, through several channels, have launched negotiation. In his interview in the mother station, he once said that chiefs and traditional rulers, religious authorities, and political elites are there talking to the people to see how they can get their grievances and channel to the head of state, commander-in-chief of the armed force. When that did not happen, when many calls of collaboration did not happen, the people thought they could take their destiny into their hands. And now there was a ministerial conference, or our committee. Two were created. One for the teachers in the northwest that was headed by Paul Gogomo, accompanied by the Minister of Secondary Education and the Minister of Basic Education and also the Minister of Higher Education. In Yaoundé, there was an interministerial ad hoc committee at the level of the legal issues to look at the by jury nature and also to look at the Ohada law translation that the lawyers were all clamoring for. In all of these meetings, the government underscored the need that many stakeholders are pushing for the fact that they want a federal system and that they at their level cannot handle this. This can only be handled by election. And however, things still went haywire. The people did not heed to the call of the government ministers and the government persons who were told many that this was something that we could get when we moved to the street, as the people always chanted out. And on September 22, many thousands of people, 2017, September 22, thousands of people went to the street to protest to what became known as the famous September 22. Every village, every city, all moved with peace plans, some violent in some location, like in Mai 17 and Muliko, where some people were killed. Blockage of roads from all the nooks and crannies from the northwest and southwest region. Then came a voice that they should be the independent of the re-establishment of the independence of the former British Isles in Cameroon. The marks of those funding the protest and calling for violence started becoming, were now falling down. Now the vision and the view of Minister Paul Atangani was clear, and things did not actually end. The government called for dialogue, sent messages to people that they should refrain from moving to the street and that all problems can be discussed amicably following the committee that was organized and called for. However, on the 1st of October 2017, that same year, things became wild. In fact, from peaceful, relatively peaceful to be more precise, to active violence. Guns started issuing out from Kwakwa, Bole, Nake, Ekumbi, moving right to the northwest region, in Kumbu, in Jakiri, moving up the station of Bamenda. You could move to Dunga and Mountain Division. The guns started issuing out. And then the emergence of generals of different ranks and fights started popping up. And the people started chanting, "Our boys." Then the sound of peace were far away, and those calling for peace were called traitors. Those calling for actually negotiation were called traitors. Blackleckism became the order of the day, and those who have been warning that if this thing moves to an armed conflict, these regions will be permanently destabilized for a long time were called names, and they were told that they have collected their own part of the envelope to speak on behalf of the government, of which these only time will now tell us if actually the people were actually talking what we needed not to hear. We wanted the people to talk what we needed to hear. And from 2018, things became worse as villages were burnt down, hospitals destroyed, lives became a new normal. Killing became a new normal. And at that time, the blood of the innocent started grazing the street and started painting the street. We could see how the voices were heard and moved now to massacre in Gambu in the famous February. The killing of baby Martha, Chongwa and Carolise. They moved the killing in St. Francis in Kumba, and you can name the rest, and the beheading of the gendarme officers that were killed in the northwest region, and not to talk of Ayafa, Florence. The list is long, and those whom are being killed or were killed in areas where we could not know, we could not identify, like that in a corner. And as we speak right now, the government called for a major national dialogue to see how these issues can be resolved. However, guns are seen being heard from the street, and we have been condemning. We condemn the killing in St. Francis, Mother Francisca College, where students were killed. We condemn the killing of Gabu. We condemn the killing of Ayafa Flores. We condemn the killing of baby Martha. We condemn the killing of Bebe Moyuka. We condemn the killing of Chongwan Carolise. We condemned the killing of the mother that was killed in Kwakwa. We condemn the killings of those who were killed in Moya in their houses. We condemn the killing, and we have been condemning the killing. And just of recent, more than 3 police officers were killed in Moya around the Witeva Road, Moya Buya locality. We have condemned the killing. And how much more condemnation are we going to keep condemning? The word condemnation now is not a new normal. In fact, when a day passes by without hearing someone being killed, then it is like a breaking news that nobody was killed. A news that is so heartbreaking. Mothers have lost their children across Cameroon, whether gendarme officers being killed, whether the boys is being killed, whether they are innocent being killed. These are people who once sang and are singing, "O Cameroon, cradle of our fathers, thy worth no tongue can tell." And the worth no tongue can really tell, as pains are being felt from the northwest, the southwest region, and even this other part where mothers of the East Cameroon who have their children in the military, in the gendarmerie, cry for the death of their children. And you can name the list, keep continuing, and with a flood of internally displaced persons, and not to talk of those who are unable to have good medical facilities in the area because of the war. It is a total cacophony. Thus, the question we are asking is, how long shall we keep condemning? This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mai Jarvis. A happy Sunday, and thanks for joining us. Happy New Month to all those of you watching us. If you are watching us from different parts of the world, we want to wish you Happy New Month. Those of you celebrating their birthday this month, happy birthday to all of you celebrating your birthday this month. And those of you passing through difficult times, happy Sunday. Just know that tough time never lasts. Tough people do last. To kickstart today's edition, we are joined by Senior Barrister Achu Julius. He is a member of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM. We shall also be looking at the issue of PTA, if to back to school. Minister Nalova Lyunga reaffirms the issue of PTA. Senior Barrister Achu Julius, thanks for joining us, and happy Sunday.
Thank you, Jarvis, for inviting me once more to the House of Commons. I'm very happy to be here. I'll say good morning to my learned Senior Barrister Agbo Ashu Emmanuel, and good afternoon to Cameroon, as well as our diaspora, who I believe are coming to their senses to understand that peace has no price.
Thank you very much. Also in the studio, we are joined by an elite from Manu, who is also, the people of Manu rose up last week and said they want a full motion of support for their president, but Barrister distanced himself from that and said that was not part of him. And so he is the president of the national president of the Reform Party, and that same Sunday, he reaffirmed that his party now is in Manu. to counter the motion of support that was sent, and that he believed he can win Man U. Senior Barrister, welcome and happy Sunday.
Thank you, Tah Mai Jarvis. Good afternoon to my learned colleague. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to all the members, militants and sympathizers of Reform Party the world over. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Kangaroo Man. I hope this is going to be an interesting debate.
Thank you very much. Also,
excuse me. I forgot something very, very important. Mr. Jarvis, you just bundled me. You bundled me with people who are celebrating.
No, I said you distance yourself.
No. You bundled me with people who are celebrating their birthdays, and that is really, really not acceptable.
Hey, I don't know today's a birthday.
My birthday was yesterday, and you never even wish me happy birthday. You see?
I'm sorry, I was on a spiritual retreat at the Peka 27 Major Seminar. I just came this morning. I was off social media for 2 days or so. I will wish a special happy birthday in the course of the program.
You're welcome.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And I'm happy you also, at least we wish you many more years. We want that someday we should also say that we have sat with the president of Cameroon, and we also hope that one day we'll say we have sat with the president of Cameroon. We wish you that one day you become president, so that we'll not just be having this debate here, we're having it at the level of the Unity Palace. Also, okay. Before I introduce the next panel, I'll start with you, Senior Barrister. If you listen for my editorial, we have been told, when this crisis started, for my editorial, some who called for peaceful resolutions of the conflict were called black leg. I remember one point in time, your pictures were everywhere when you were saying that no, these things, if we go to armed conflict, it will be very difficult for Cameroonians, and let us look at peaceful way to resolve this. We can mutually disagree to agree, but we are 7 years now. Was it that you foresaw?
Well, it's very disheartening when we turn around and look at the northwest and southwest regions, and find out how there's the break in the society, and the disorder which is being installed by unscrupulous persons. Having had experience of living in a war-torn zone, or in a zone that has similar problems, I had it in my mind that going for armed conflict is the worst thing that will ever happen to any people, because at the end of the day, it's going to be an anti-people matter. They treated me all sorts of names and called me whatever, but I'm somebody, I'm true, and I believe what I say, I believe in it, and I had the conviction that what we're going to have was not good for our population. It has happened, all of us are seeing, and it still doesn't stop us using peaceful methods to solve our problems. And when it comes to peace, to me, peace has no price. Peace is priceless, and we have to do everything to make sure there's peace any blessed moment. Especially we have a president who has peace as one of his reasons for being president of this country. So he knows that Cameroon has to be a peaceful nation to prosper. But in any case, I realize that many people have coming to realize that armed struggle was not the best solution. We had other solutions, and especially our diaspora, because those who spearheaded these things were from abroad of the country. They actually encouraged those on the ground to pick up arms, because they themselves cannot pick up arms where they are. But they encourage people on the ground to pick up arms and look at the consequences. All of us are regretting it. If we knew, if there's a way of turning the tables, we would turn it differently. I'm always one of those saying that, why can't we use this same politics that all of us practice every day to make it work? For example, why can an Anglophone not be president of this country? Why? And that is a simple solution that doesn't need the carrying of arms. It's just a matter of going to the ballot box and voting. Simple. So why should we take something more complicated that will spill blood, that will make us lose our identity, that will make us leave our zones? Because most of them don't mixing words. 2/3 of Anglophones have left and are living in the Francophone zones. They are now more comfortable staying this way, and most of them will not go back.
I was shocked when I went to Peka 27 at the major seminary. I went to get water, the ladies there that were cooking Anglophones, I heard they started talking in pidgin. Then after I engaged them, they were internally displaced person, and I asked the same question. I said, sister, you go back from Moyoka. He said, brother, I go do 80. I get farm for year, I get tin every year, and you go to where you move from all the Peka, you start going further, you see that most are Anglophones.
This one is here. What of Betwa? Go to East region. Go to the North. They are there. And most of them out there, I'm betting you will never come back. So we need a new social order, a new way of looking at things to see how we can stop this armed conflict. So that, because what is now disturbing is, it is no longer armed conflict for political reasons, but armed conflict for personal interest. Because money. It's money, but nothing else. When once they come for you, you are kidnapped, it's for money. They're not saying that BIA must go or that Anglophone zone should be independent or whatever. It's no longer that language is out of place. It's now money. So so that thieves have taken over, and there's no way we can fight these thieves easily because we don't even most of us don't know who they are, where they're coming from. We are not even sure that most of them are even Anglophones. We cannot even say for 100% that they are Anglophones. We don't know where they're coming from or origins of those areas. But you see, it is a consequences of picking up arms when you're not ready, when you're not organized, you don't have money, you don't have relationship, you don't have the ideology, the people themselves don't buy it. When you don't have all those things on the table, you pick up arms. These are the consequences. Thieves have taken over.
Now, the killing of 3 police officers, I think more, in Southwest. Are we not tired of condemnation?
Well, you see, it's disheartening whenever a Cameroonian is killed. Even to me, be there from wherever, whether you are Amazonia or whatever, when once a Cameroonian is killed, it hurts my heart. You go and kill 3 policemen. What is the message you're sending? Once you kill the military, they're coming for you. So it means there's going to be continuous bloodshed. Because you cannot kill policemen and say, leave you free, leave you free. They will go for them until they get them, they will not rest. You touch a military man, they will come back for you until they get you, they will not rest.
And the people in that locality will suffer.
Of course. When elephants are fighting, the grass, the herb, the grass around takes the brunt. And that's what's going on. And that's the problem. People will suffer. Munya market that used to be a market that everybody used to love to go. Who goes there again? The farmers that used to farm, most of them abandoned their farms. They are coming this way, as you said. You go pick at 27. You can imagine how far that.
Far!
I went to Betwa. Go to Betwa, Baturi. You will be shocked that there are people from Bamenda, from Manfe, from whatever, working farms there, doing gold and diamond there. And those people, they're going to settle and they're not going to come back. And you go to San Melima, you go to the president's village, they are there. And those guys are going, everybody, they're going to adjust and stay there and develop their lives. Otherwise, what is going to happen with our region? It is people have gone. We no longer go for weekends. We used to go weekends with Limbe. If you ride to Babena, Friday like that, everybody's
cultural week in the village.
Go there, you spend some money, and those things, you make money circulate, you make the economy be, and things like that. It is finished. I've not been to the village for I don't know more than how many years today. Even if I had to go, I go in hiding. Why? Why should it be like that? Because we think that we can take arms and fight? No, come on. The way it is not possible to fight. It's just not possible. Okay.
Senior Barrister Emmanuel, thanks for joining us. And now, more than 3 killed. We have been condemning both the civilians killed, condemned. In fact, if a day goes by without somebody being killed in either a division, not the region, because normally the 2 regions will definitely lose somebody. If a day goes by without anybody being killed in a division, it's a good news, a breaking news. We have moved from rarely to now celebrating. Yeah, if one person is not killed, we celebrate. How long shall we keep condemning? And you are aspiring as the Reform Party candidate for 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Jarvis. Before I answer your question, I want to thank you for your program of last week that enabled the people of Manu to know that they were living inside a cocoon that need to be open and enable them to breathe fresh air. I want to assure you that your program was well received because I got messages. As I'm talking, they are listening to me. I got messages congratulating me for opening people's eyes, because the people who were there, most of them looked like they were doing what they did with conjunctivitis in their eyes. So many of them understood that they went too far. they went too far. They ought not to have. Because you see, look, this is a very, very sorrowful situation. I was talking about Akwaya and I forgot something. There is Obodu Cattle Ranch belonging to Cameroon, which is around that same area. It has been rented by Nigeria, and for decades now Nigeria is paying no more rent, and many people think that it is part of Nigeria. Now you don't even care about Akwaya. What will you care about Obodu? The government is saying nothing. You see, look at this is a situation where we are losing part of our territory. A piece of land that was being rented by Nigeria, that's where they go and stage these Nigerian films. It's our property. We don't have roads to go to Akwaya. In which year are they going to think about taking back Obodu Cattle Range?
Well, maybe when you become president.
Well, you can be sure of that. You can be sure of that. So thank you for your program, sir. Because and there's another. There were two. There were two properties. That there was Obodu Cattle Range, and there's another one a little bit up towards the northwest.
Dumbu Cattle Ranch.
Thank you. I know there were two. So thank you. You see, this government has just forgotten all these treaties, these contracts.
That area has a divisional officer now.
Sir, it is something that it has to do with the government. It is government to government. Nigeria is renting those properties. They have not been paying their rent. Let them pay. We need money now in this country. Let the government get up, go collect our rents, and ask them now to quit. That's it. That's what it's all about. You see, so I come back to it to say thank you for your program, because you made us open our eyes and tell our people what they should know. And you just said something else there. Fighting, where is my learned colleague who said it? Fighting, shooting or killing of people can only lead. You see, violence begets violence. You kill, they will come for you. And then when they kill you, you just your own people will say, they've killed our own person. You go for them. So it's a circle that will never end. In my village now, since last week, because I said all our chiefs have run away.
Yeah, you say your chief in your village is not there.
The chief is in America. The regent ran away to Boya. Who is governing the village? So since last week, the military are there, suspecting that it is the Amba people who are controlling the village. The military are there, arresting people, searching left and right. You see? Because you cannot have a situation where villagers live in this type of confusion. There's no leader.
Why did they run? Why did they
insecurity. It's insecurity. What else do you want? It's insecurity. So that's why I'm asking. I will be calling on my good friend.
We used to believe that traditional rulers have a certain kind of
protection
when they are coronated. Or is it that those things we are just being frightened?
You see, he understands, because those of the northwest have those powers. But I'm sorry. I don't intend to insult any person. But in the southwest, it's a different story, because our chiefs are not the custodians of traditional power. They are not. Unfortunately, you see, I'm in Nchupichem. we wield more power than them. You see, if we are seated and the village chief comes, he will take his rank. He cannot come and open his mouth in a Nyankwe sitting. No, he will take his rank.
I understand now.
He will take his rank. Yes, we are the custodians. You see, the story is different. So the power is in the hands of the custodians. That is why, in our area, the chiefs were first of all tax collectors. When the one man came and was asking for chief, they say, what do they want? They give them somebody, say, go use that one. Later on, they realized that those so-called chiefs now were tax collectors, and they never wielded traditional authority. In the northwest, it's different. So that is the predicament our people are facing. So in the face of all this, our people have to stay lucid. Now, you were talking about our losing people every day.
Yeah, like in Boya, what even happened in Boya?
We were told there was 3 people. But when I asked my people on the ground, they say it was not 3, it was 7. That figure never came out. It was 7, not 3.
So officially we were lied to.
It was 7, not 3. Not 3. So you see, among the 7, the people who were killed, there was a child from my area, Mbeng, from my area. I mean, you don't know who will be the next victim.
Yes.
You cannot know.
One picture of a former GBHS Manu, they said
Mbeng, I say so. It's our child. Huh?
And the phones.
A man for boy now. You don't know who will be the next victim. Some people look at this thing and think that because it is happening that way, it doesn't. Even the Francophones are not left out. They're not left out. Almost every family has a member in the army, and when these people die like that, the families are touched. I had a call from a client from Germany who wanted me to go to Mindef to go look for his uncle that was missing since 9 months. Behold, when we tried to find out, the man was dead and buried. And they only asked us to compile documents for the. You see that? So everybody is a national concern. We are tired of addressing our messages of condolence. How can you will become a professional condolence writer? If you want to do that now,
we have been condemning from how long?
You see that even the government can no longer say where the condolences of no, they are tired. At times they are not even aware of what is happening because they kill here, kill there, kill, and with the new tactics of of the voices, many kill and don't even expose the cops. They don't. And they tell you that no, they should. The international community, when they see those cops, they'll say that they were also killing. They kill and then do away. So how do you know that this person died? Okay. So you see, it's a very disheartening situation. Like my learned colleague said, it is not a nice thing because when this conflict started, I remember very, very well, the entire nation almost stood up like one man. One of our politicians organized a press conference at Salle des Fêtes to ask that they should send the army to go and kill Anglophones. Jean-Jacques Ekini, I remember it vividly. He organized a press conference at Salle des Fêtes. And we're asking him, you are organizing press conference for your people to be killed. He said, let them go and teach them a lesson. Go ask him now whether he will. About 6 months ago, I heard him saying that the thing should end and all. I said, look at, you asked that soldiers be sent. Our senators march in the streets in Yaoundé with green or across their chests. You saw these things, asking that the army be sent. Now, I want to see those senators take to the street, marching that the war be stopped.
Is it not time for?
I want to see them march and ask the war to be stopped.
Is it not time for government to send these people back to their constituencies? To see how they can resolve the issue on the dialogue perspective.
Thank you. If the Minister of Basic Education says she is not sending her teachers to the slaughter, you want the President of the Senate to send his senators to the slaughter? Must I leave that thing? That cannot be a solution. You know the place is not safe. You can't be asking personalities to go there, to go to a place. Now, we all see what is happening when an administrator is going down. Even my good friend here, when the attention is going down, they give you armored cars. So you want to give how many armored cars will you give to all the senators and parliamentarians going down? How many?
They went to win an election.
You see, it's not nice. The right thing to do is to put meaningful discussions on the table. The whole problem has to deal with the state, the form of the state.
Okay, we'll be coming back to you. Fight every style. We have been condemning. You go to Gunuku, I don't know how safe you are. Sometimes when you go to Gunuku, I don't know how safe you are, but some of us cannot go to our village here. For 7 years we have been condemning. Now the killing in Boya, we have been how long shall we keep condemning? Your party is going in for the next election. What is their stake in resolving this conflict?
Well, first, thank you for giving me the mic, and greetings to the learned barristers who are here, seniors barristers for that matter, of high category and high magnitude, who have been putting their points across, even if some of the points are limping. But the main thing is that their points are getting across. The main thing here is that how long shall we? I listened to our senior barrister, Archo Julius, who has been missing for quite a while, who expressed his indignation, of course, really sad feelings about what is happening. And I asked myself, if this expression is coming from the bottom of his heart, then it could be a applause to him. But if it's coming in a crocodile manner, then it could be walking in a lackadaisical manner that would be of no portfolio. But then I know that everybody will tell you, no to the killings, no. CRM said this initially before most of our militants were arrested and locked up at the different detention centers for not just cause. And some of the barristers who were from the regime gave different reasons as to why it is correct they should be locked up and things like that. And at the end of it, see where we are. The blame game has been a problem whereby people will analyze depending on where they are standing, which is a problem. You see, I said, if this war included persons of goodwill and God-fearing attitude, it should not be where we are today. We understand the national dialogue that was a cooked one, which was more of a monologue and more of a ruling party come together with the associates. And it went on. But in this very platform, we had even our senior barrister, Julius here, who was among those who said it was on a good footing, it is that people cannot. So at the end of it, we are still on the blame game. That beats my imagination and keeps me very worried. But as I said, we've gone past the time of crocodile tears, because if a regime baron was having the brother or the sister involved as direct casualty, this solution would have been there since. I say the solution would have been there long. Because when I talk about direct casualty, I'm not talking what in my mouth. This is my point of view. If I say direct casualty, it simply means...
Sorry, sir. We have had that.
Excuse, I'm coming. Senior barrister. I talk with facts and analysis. I talk with facts and analysis. I said there several times that if we had a general and the son was on the field, we had this person and they were on the field directly in the involvement of it, the issue would have been very much different. But as I said, if you take a statistical approach on what I'm saying, you will realize that 98% of those who are involved in it are more from the common hegemony, which means they have a common background, different from the few who call the shots. And that's the reason why we will keep rigmaroling day in, day out with cosmetic solutions. This I'm speaking not water in my mouth. And what does it mean here? It simply means that if we want to get a way forward, 7 years running we have been on platform, non-stop, on ways forward and way forward and way forward. And nothing has really been taken concretely. As you rightly asked, how long shall we continue with the blame game? The blame game is overdue. That is first the reply I can give you is overdue. Because if I say the CPDM is the cost, the regime in place is the cause, the Amber Boys are the ones causing it. When I am unable to stop the killing, I will continue with the same rhetorics of this person has done this one has done that, this one has done that. So what we simply need to do first is that we will not want the blame game to continue. Because senior barrister Achu Emmanuel said here a couple of minutes ago, Achu Emmanuel, sorry, a couple of minutes ago that no one knows who is the next, which is quite correct because you don't know who is the next. The fact that I go to Gunoko and come back does not mean that I am super, because each time I'm going, my heart beats triple, because anything can happen to you at any time. Now, there's no longer a thing like I'm familiar with A or B or C or D. I was in Bamenda the last 2 weeks ago when someone was kidnapped around hospital and about not far from where I was. And I said to myself, it could have been me. It could have been another person. But definitely, I go to Bamenda in a technical manner and come out in a technical manner. So what are we saying here? We are saying that...
You used to go into a technical manner.
I said the situation is no longer under control. I have to be honest with you. If anybody tells you that, even they themselves, if they come, they will be kidnapped. Yeah, because the situation has lost its alignment.
Okay.
Now, so if you look at it, it's at different facets. Those who are for independence are doing their own. Those who are for money making, like people who run from prison, also, bandits are doing their own part. So it's a whole jigsaw puzzle game that I want to assure you that no one now can step his leg on the ground called ground zero and thinks that he's super, because you will be taken aback.
Are you not agreeing to what Senior Barrister said a while ago, that it is now a very complex situation, which he says that we can look at a different way to handle it, because now money making, and you cannot say with all certainty that these are Anglophones or these are not Anglophones.
What he said is correct, but it's not ending there.
Okay.
Because you are like giving him kudos on what he has said.
No, I'm not giving him kudos.
But I want to let you know that what he spoke, it was only throwing cold water on the duck's back. Why do I say so? Because Senior Barrister here, Julius, knows what to do for this thing to come to an end. Now as I speak, we have been explaining these things over and over. But now when you get to a point, I keep saying that if we were on a sincere dialogue, I am sure that he would have been able to tell Yaoundé, please, I understand, because Senior Barrister Julius understand the complexities on the ground. And when this crisis started, someone were telling people that a stitch in time saves 9. The more the state is taking cosmetic solutions, taking shortcuts to arrive at, is the more it's getting complex. Where are we today? The confession on the platform here is that it's non-complex. It was not today that we foresaw it as being complex. It was not today. And I was saying that based on general analysis on conflict. Conflict in the world will tell you that when it starts, abuse of human rights automatically stepped in. When America went to Afghanistan or the like, they also violated, there was human rights abuse. Guantanamo Bay, we know about the story of Guantanamo Bay. I mean, the US that tells you number one, human rights supporter, we're equally violating the rights of persons. So when war is concerned, armed persons will kidnap, armed persons will rape, government troops, part of them would also rape, part of them would also do funny things, because you don't have the rights of angels. Those are the characteristics of conflict in general, which should not be different from what we have in Cameroon. And that was said that a government that is proactive to prevent these occurrences, since as they understand more than me and you, they will simply take fast measures to arrest the situation before it goes out of control. Where are we now? We are already out of control. And it takes only the same regime that allowed the things to go out of control to carry on a reversal method and then putting in place what is expected. Like we're saying here a couple of minutes ago, when Senior Barrister Jido said, it's in a situation where you don't even know who is who, which is correct. But I will tell you that despite the utterances making here, the state is intelligent than you and I sitting here. The government itself knows exactly who they can meet if they decide to. Because people are not coming from space, they are not spirits. It just suffices that this number, I can track this number. This one has been calling for ransom. This one, Cameroon is very intelligent for that. For intelligence, don't play with Cameroon. They can be able to locate that this person has a hand here, this one has a hand here. That's what I've told people several times. When you get arrested within the crisis, don't think that you could be so. There are people that are arrested that are innocent, but there are some that you will not find them innocent as they will tell you. Because the state must have been known that, the way Far arresting Far must have had a hand,
maybe
or Far must have
Far
must have made a call, or might have contributed in one way or the other. They have some different methods that they arrive at, which are far advanced than the way you and I reason. So what I'm saying is that with the intelligence nature of the states and the organogram put in place, if the state wants this crisis to end now, it will take them, I'll be talking probably towards the end of the program, on what the state can do to end that. So
now let me do a quick follow-up. You talked about the fact that the way it's been handled is based on the fact that some of the government officials or barons have not had people directly implicated. But let me give you, maybe you will react on it. Senator Regina Mundi was part of the inner circle of those are the people who actually scrutinize the laws. When they leave the parliament, they come to the Senate, they scrutinize who play advice. She was actually an active member, and an appointed senator, someone who was appointed by President Paul, which means she has a direct link to President Paul, directly affected.
Next
was kidnapped.
I'm coming to the
we also have mayors have been kidnapped. Mayors who are actually some have been killed. Now we have the president of the Northwest Regional Assembly who went kidnapped for almost a year.
Almost a year.
Was kidnapped. And we have also had the attack of the prime minister was in the Northwest region, and there was kind of gone around his environment. He felt it around his environment. So these are people who are directly, and we also had Betty Asomo convoy at one point in time was attacked. So who else do we need? Are you talking? So should we now the head of state should be the head of state?
Let me answer that question in a clean and clear manner. When we talk about those directly implicated, right? You've mentioned those names, they are all facts. They were involved in it. And the question we ask is, what role do they play in arresting the situation? I'm talking about those who are the chain of command. Now, you mentioned Prime Minister, which I want to agree with you. We understand what happens at Matasm. Now, I don't want to take the Prime Minister in another direction in terms of politics, because we understand that with the Cameroon that we have, what role does he have? He's a gentleman, perfect by excellence as per his way of action, which I see and I know. Now, we ask ourselves, what role do Prime Ministers have in Cameroon as far as calling the shot? If you want to, I'll give you back to that. Now, if we look at it critically, with the convoy of the Minister of Defense, we ask ourselves, what was the magnitude of the attack, which you mentioned here? Was it gunshot at the air because the soldiers were so heavy that you could not come closer? All of these things matter. Now, all of these things matter. Now, what I'm telling you is clear and clear. If you take the station on the ground, take, for example, I give an anecdote of the major generals who have controlled the northwest and the southwest of the station. Take a look. As I said, you are a journalist. Pick up the investigating part of it. Look at the quarter of those who have quite fallen on the field. Valiant and patriotic soldiers who have fallen on the field. Get their background, because I can help you do that. I'm talking because I've gone through into all of that. I can help you tell you why exactly this number that we have, how many of them come from the background that can call a shot, who fell on the ground clean and clear, or who were kidnapped by the Amber Boys and later on killed and things like that. So it becomes a point in time that when we look at where the things are moving, as I said, because he who feels the pain understands it more than he who lives on rhetorics or on reported speech. That no, ça passe comme ça passe ici comme ça. But now, when we look at it critically, as I said, the will, first of all, to address it is not there. Because when we look at the Senate, why do you think that Senator Regina Mundi fell into dragnet? Came back, the issue has not been put formally on the table at the Senate. National Assembly has not been put formally on the table. Yeah, that's why I would thank the opposition SDF MPs for some time. It's not like it's not my party for now, but I should be able to program it, because they had a time whereby at least they tried to at least make some noise in the National Assembly, even if it did not go. But at least the problem is, what is stopping us from saying, okay, we want extraordinary session. The killings are enough. We don't know who will be next.
Now, you just confirmed that the Minister of Defense, probably, or the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister is not in a position to actually resolve the conflict per se based on his powers. Secondly, the Minister of Defense and also these members kidnapped. How do you think that a senior barrister Achu here, whom you are saying that knows what to do, can solve the problem, who is not a member of the government, does not work under the government, how then can he solve the problem?
Good. Let me tell you that he has what it takes. Apart from being a senior advocate to the regime.
Because he doesn't work within the government.
No, excuse me. I'm coming. When you are a communicator of a party, like we are also communicators of a party, the reason in which you take an approach to it, like somebody who's on the ground, he has a different listening ear. That is a fact. Central committee members know what I'm talking about. We don't rigmarole about what we're talking about here. Because I'm telling you that
how do you know? Are you a member of the party?
No, I am not a member of the party, but I have eyes on the ground. Okay. I'm sorry to tell you that. I have eyes on the ground. So if I tell you that senior barrister Archidus, who's here,
he knows what to do.
He knows what to do. What does it mean? It simply means that the things that the statements authors that were given initially. I want to tell you that for the CPDM and the Baron members, there has been a revolution in this crisis. Because the authority that used to be lambasting one has changed. I have to be honest with you. If you go to defense, Joseph Beti Asobo has done an improvement. The brutality that the soldiers had before on the ground is not what we see now. Because you pass sometimes, you say, they say, comment ça va? No, I mean, you start getting that is the paradigm has shifted. If the paradigm is shifting, it means
now you now experience a civil military cooperation.
A civil military cooperation until we sometimes went to a Konotiti, we could get the medical corps of the B attending to people, not so, free of charge. You understand what I'm saying? These approaches are approaches that we were supposed to have these approaches at the initial stage that would not have gotten us violence.
So
now you see, by senior barrister Archidus, I keep saying here because at the level of the Central Committee, there's something you're not understanding. Let me explain how the kangaroo system works. Just 1 second. In the kangaroo system, they have a system whereby once you channel issues of the party, ruling party, into a particular circle, it has an easier way of going through and going faster, because in the system of the operation, the more they put in place a proactive measure, the more they are sure of getting people to canvass for them when the time comes. Senior Barrister, actually understand what I'm saying here.
Okay.
So he has what it takes, no matter how he blows the grammar here, and sits and tells us that he is feeling very sad on it. But this were not the grammars that he was blowing from the initial stage. It was that of command chain. The government has what it take. But if we had used a different approach, softer,
He has been consistent.
you will now realize that things would have taken a different shift. We are where we are today because we started handling the system poorly.
Okay. Senior Barrister, I want to know, Fayevi said you know what to do to address this crisis. You are not a member of the government, you don't work for the government, or maybe I don't know. I'm not talking about the other. He said you know what to do to address the crisis. Please.
He should not answer that question. If he answers is self-serving, he should not answer it.
No, I don't want to
Reserve it for me.
I just want to know, what do you have in terms of resolving this crisis that Faye is saying, which I know you don't, you are not a member of the government?
I just think maybe he's seeing something we are not seeing.
Maybe he's seen an appointment.
Tongues.
No, we have our meeting point. He knows us, we meet. We have our meeting point. I'm talking because we understand ourselves.
This thing is very serious.
It's serious.
You see, when this crisis started, it was peace plant. And a group of guys took it over. Because you see, it started when there was a meeting between the government and the consortium.
Yes.
Teachers and lawyers.
Teachers and lawyers in 2016.
They gave 24 grievances which were all accepted by the state.
The Interministerial ad hoc committee organized in Bamenda for the teachers and in Yaoundé for the lawyers.
So it got into a stalemate when the consortium came out with a program of federation, reform of the state. And that's why it couldn't work. Thereafter, another group of persons thought instead of continuing on the table, you better pick up arms. It started timidly. They got some arms and started shooting. They killed in Manfe and whatever.
In
They were actually attacking military camps and things like that. After attacking military camps, they stopped attacking military camps. They went to councils and government offices and they were attacking and burning. That still didn't give them any satisfaction. They went to the prison yards in Kumbo, in Wum, in Bali, and in Dop. Emptied the prison with the prisoners and gave the guns to these prisoners. There was some escalation at the very beginning. What has happened? They started now attacking the civilian population, messing up with their properties, burning some people's houses, taking their goods away, causing tension on the population who was at one point in time supporting them.
Yeah.
Don't forget, the population was actually supporting them. So it now changed, the conflict now changed to some other thing. Ransom, kidnapping for ransom, money. So those guys who had guns, with their criminal backgrounds from the prison, it was easy to convert them into that style, to look for money. And they've been looking for money ever since, and that's where we are today. Some of them got lots of money and have even left the country. We're aware of that. But what are the consequences? Ambazonia wanted an independent country. But because of their action, there's been a serious exodus. Everybody, every Anglophone who wants to stay in the comfort zone crosses over to the Francophone zone. 2/3 have left. The economy in the Anglophone zones are in a mess. And nobody who has left has an intention of ever going back. So by wanting an independent country, they've now emptied the country and they are reinforcing
and made more Anglophone bilingual. Because now
bilingualism.
Our children now speak more of French in Douala than
Cameroon. They've reinforced Cameroonianness or Cameroonians because
they have reinforced national integration.
I don't want to go that way. They've reinforced the Cameroonianness in Cameroonians. So now, all those who felt that they had an independent country are more comfortable living in Cameroon as it is today than whatever those guys proposed. So at the end of the day, what is happening? Thieves are there taking over. Those guys who left jail, especially in the Northwest, because those guys are carrying guns, are ex-convicts. If you can be convict in a place that bans up, like Kumbo and Womb, Ondop, that means you are a real convict, because you can be convict in a village, there you can know what the type of mentality you have. And you take such persons and you give them guns. And you think that they are fighting for independence? They are fighting for themselves. Now the gun is a means of them using, raising money for themselves and not for independence. If we see all of those, all the measures they're taking now, it has nothing to do with their idea of having independence. They're just there to hurt you and me and squeeze what they can get from you to live their own lives. We know some of them that got that money are building here in Douala. Some are building in Yaoundé with money from kidnapping. Well, you yourself, who thinks that you're fighting for independence, you take money from kidnapping. I can't build in Douala. I will build in Yaoundé. Are you still fighting for independence? So it means that notion of independence is far gone. And it now becomes complicated in the sense that it's like, what I used to liken it to the Coupe de Route in the Grand North. It took more than 15 years to clear it off. You can't fight that type of war in one day. It takes time. It takes information. If they have to stop it, they have to have, the government has to pay informants to go there and infiltrate those things, to give precise information for the government to know what to do, for the military to know what to do. Because the military doesn't just go and attack a place without having
information,
statistics, information, and planning. So that's what that because it was going to take this stealing by these thugs. It's going to take some time to quell. Unlike, because it is no longer independence in their head. You no longer have an account in their head. It is clean thievery. But you see, when they say we're talking about a solution, I think those guys have helped Cameroon have a solution with this issue of integration that President Biya himself said he failed. Because President Biya said they tried to integrate Anglophones into the Francophone system and it didn't work.
When he was talking to Mo Ibrahim.
Yes, Mo Ibrahim. He said that he's the president of the country. But this thing has instead make it become easier. What if you, like, we'll go to the market, if you cannot speak English, you speak French. Nobody will beg you. We are the ones that begging to speak French. Unlike before,
what are you saying?
where our system of education was the best. Every Francophone wanted to send the child to Boya, right up to Cabe.
Yes, to actually come
to send their kids to school there.
Also to Manu, there's this prominent school in Manu.
Yes,
yes, yeah.
No, there's there's
Seat of Wisdom.
No, there's a school.
Queen of Rosary.
Yes, Queen of Rosary.
Can you imagine? So we had this education
It's still
industry.
there now.
The education industry was booming, which was a source of actually brainwashing the Francophones to become Anglophones. We've destroyed it.
No.
As we've destroyed it, Anglophones are moved this way.
Look, universities have come
come on TV and talk in French.
I'm telling you that.
How many Francophones have you seen come on TV and talk in English? No, it's easy to see. Because we have an interest to stay here and live with society here. When you come to Douala, you have to live like a Douala man.
You're right.
You go to Yaoundé, you have to live like a Yaoundé man.
Sometimes I go to Boya, I want to talk to taxi man, sometimes I use French. And then you realize, hey, I'm in Boya.
No, so you see, the consequence of what they've done is they've helped the integration that was planned a long time ago, that failed.
Okay.
To make it easy.
Good afternoon, all in the house, Mr. Jarvis. We really need change in Cameroon. Everybody should call, should have a voter's card. Happy birthday to Big Barrister. I wish many more years to him. Aishatu from Banyo. Okay, this one says, good afternoon. Okay, your message is gotten. This one says, please, where you are texting us, let us also know where you are texting us from and your name. Good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis. Okay. Let me come back to you, Senior Barrister. You said you have the solution, to this conflict.
Of course. Yeah. Let me start with the reserved question, because you asked my learned colleague what he has.
Yes.
That Mr. Fai is seeing, that Mr. Fai is seeing that he can solve the crisis. Now, you see, as a party leader, I have to make things clear that party spokespersons are here to present their party's position, not like in his case, the position of the government. He is not the representative of the regime. I heard him say the regime. This gentleman doesn't represent the regime. He represents the CPDM, which is the party that put that regime in place. So their job is exclusively political. It has nothing to do with the governance. So because you see, these things are very important, because when they are said, the gullible people down there may swallow them and start hating him for nothing. That these are the people with the solution and they are doing nothing. So he is just a party spokesperson who presents to the world the position of his party on a particular issue, and he works on directives. Before coming here, his bosses have told him, this is our line, you told that line, and he cannot go out of it. So it is, even what he says here is not his making. I mean, he follows the party line. So I will not personally indict him for whatever he says here on behalf of CPDM. It is not his personal position, it's the party's position. So thank you for that one. Let me go now to the other things that I heard him say. I will not follow his line when he talks about the beginning of the crisis, saying that the people in the bush are people who were at their prison broke out, who now they broke the prison and people came out. No, look, we were all present when this thing started. Our people were forced to take arms. My grandfather's house in the village was the first house to be destroyed by the army. I was on equinox to declare it. My grandfather and we went to bury my mother. We just rebuilt that house. Remember, it was after some gendarmes were killed
In Kumbo.
that the president got angry.
Yes, that was in Kumbo.
Yes,
No,
president got angry and said, okay, you kill my gendarmes, okay, you see, and after
And people say
he was even out of the country. When he came back, our population pushed this man. We should tell the truth. Our population pushed the president to send the army. I said earlier, parliamentarians and senators marched in the streets. Politicians held press conferences. It was something like a national outcry. Crush them. I don't know what was wrong.
He responded to the people's call.
Good. So we should stop indicting this man for things that we ourselves brought about. No, we should tell the truth. Things that we ourselves brought about. Because
Cyprian never said that.
I am telling you that we should tell the truth. We're all living witnesses. So don't say Mr. President, Mr. Pobia declared war. You pushed him. You pushed him. I have been saying it here. We saw our senators with their green yellow in the streets asking that soldiers be sent to their own regions to go and kill their people. So look, we should. Yeah, Mr. President is the one who sent the truth, but he was pushed by his own people. So let them assume their responsibility.
Now they can go back to their villages.
Okay, you see the whole thing, because you want to look at the solution, you should look at the real problem. What is the real problem? For me, I see this thing as a matter of misunderstanding. Misunderstanding and miseducation. When you ask the people in the bush with the guns, what do you want? You will get at least 5 answers. Some want total independence. Some want independence. Some want restoration of the state of Southern Cameroon. They don't want. Some say, okay, one federation.
Some are on a revenge mission to the Bonwas.
I say you have at least. I am not in the bush, sir. I am not in the bush. I am not in the bush. I'm comfortably living in town, so forget that aspect of it. You see, so the people who say they want independence, forget that Southern Cameroons had already obtained independence. You cannot be taking arms to go look for what you have already. You have the independence already. Those who say they want the restoration of the state of Southern Cameroon, there I say, well, you have a point. Will you obtain that restoration by picking up arms? Will you? I mean, is it possible for you to restore a state by picking up arms? What you are asking for is genuine, but the modus operandi you are using is bad. How did the state disappear? It wasn't by the use of guns. Use the same means that was used for the state to disappear from the table to obtain it. I mean, on the table by discussion, political discourse. It is not a war that made southern Cameroons to tactically disappear from the scene.
They'll call you black leg.
Oh, my brother. Look, Ayabacho already said that they should kill me. When I talked of confederation, he said, cut that man's head. He has said so already. All of us, one day or the other, die. So, look, I'm not afraid of dying. But, as I will say, it's a matter of miseducation. Nobody can call me a black leg because I am the one who has enabled most people to know the real history of southern Cameroons. I'm the person who restated that history. People who are making noise, left, right, center, don't even know how the information they're using came about. Now, my party said confederation. That was when Mr. Ayabocho said, hey, go cut his head off. Because I was not standing for total independence. How can you stand for total independence when you know that what the United Nations granted was independence by joining? That was it. 1608. Independence by joining. 2B. So you want to come and challenge the international order. That should be challenged in another sphere. Not
so violent.
Thank you.
By the gun.
Thank you. You see, so when my party says we stand for confederation, it's because we have looked at the history and seen that what was in the minds of the forefathers of southern Cameroons was not federation, it was confederation. And that was the reason why they went to Fumba and they signed nothing. Went to Yaoundé, they signed nothing. Because they did not see in the documents being presented to them what was in their hearts. And secondly, the only meaningful form of government, in our opinion, that will enable this country to work without problems is confederation. The Anglophones are a very stubborn group of people. I'm sorry, I'm not insulting any person, but I'm just stating a fact. Look, these are people who slammed the doors of the Eastern House of Assembly in Nigeria.
In Enugu.
Came to Boya and created their own assembly. You should learn from history. They slammed the doors of the Eastern House. How do you think they will want to remain in Yaoundé? How? No, truly. From the days of the British, they said, look, enough is enough. We can have our own parliament. They left and opened their parliament without even British authorization. The British always say, okay, now that you have your own, we shall give you the blessing. So that gene is in the Southern Cameroonians. They don't want any form of domination. They don't want any form of control by whosoever. So allow them govern their matters, their affairs themselves. That is, I mean, you don't want trouble. Do that, and you can live with them for as many years as you want. But you want to stay somewhere and control them. Hey, I'm sorry, you will not go.
Okay.
Truly, you will not go. So you see, my point is that people should be made to understand what is at stake. Those who are fighting should understand. When they say confederation, what does it mean? When they say federation, what does it mean? Unitary state, what does it mean? People should understand. I saw some people on some platform calling me a traitor because I said I was standing for confederation.
I'm saying that
simply because they don't know what it is. But those who understood say, hey, yes, this is a nice form of government. Because confederation is above federation.
Even to a certain extent,
it's a looser union between states.
To a certain extent, the unity state, if you look at what is also, to a certain extent, it gives some powers.
It gives some powers, but no, it can always be abused, my brother. It can always be abused.
We have what we call special status.
No, leave that one.
The same status.
That one died. He died before he was born.
I was just telling you we had with Britain. When I came and formed my own parliament, we had a special status. True or false? So the point is that when you go and look at the text, though the text is
no, sir, we did not have special status. What we had was Southern Cameroon was made an independent province within the Federation of Nigeria. It's not special title. It was an independent.
Indirect rule.
After the second Lancaster House talks in London, Southern Cameroon was erected into an independent province within the Federation of Nigeria. Province.
That's a special state.
No, that's not special state.
It was indirect rule. It was indirect rule.
Okay.
And we had a semi-independence that was not even saying that. But this time, if you go and read the law on decentralization, if they complete it, any region is going to be. Any region that knows what it means to have a special status is going to be very powerful.
No, sir.
Senior Vice Chancellor,
now, please, I don't understand how somebody who has to share 15% of national budget.
You can raise your money.
Do you understand?
You know that now.
Somebody wants to share, 10 people have to share 15% of national budget. We'll be having.
The regions can raise money.
No, sir.
They now have a status.
That thing is not workable. That thing is not workable.
Seniors,
for you.
Seniors,
but I'm telling you, they have a
seniors
status. They can raise money. You don't need budget. You don't need the state budget to run. You can raise the money. I'll be stronger than the state.
Misappropriation of public funds. Don't worry.
I'll be stronger than the state.
We'll be coming back to you, seniors. Fai Evistayong, you listen to what Senior Vice Ashu said a while ago that President Biya was pushed to deploy military by elites and politicians. I saw you nodding your head.
Yeah, you know that everybody has a right to his opinion. That's the first thing. Sometimes I seem to understand the two learned colleagues, and sometimes I seem to doubt if they are moving on towards the same direction. So they keep me in a state of pandemonium. But I think that something could be wrong somewhere along the line. I don't know how you can be a leader and they don't give you responsibilities. They transfer responsibility to your colleagues. That means a shifted responsibility. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work under administration, be it private or public administration. It doesn't work. You are a leader of an organization. Once things go wrong, they hold you responsible. If the CIA director in America was resigning because Donald Trump was attacked during a rally, you think she could not equally say that no? It was the chief security unit. That's all. Who said that who should be blamed? I mean, the security unit was in the rally. No, because at every chain there's a command unit.
But their culture is also different.
No, excuse me, I'm coming. We are working on borrowed. All what I'm talking about here is a borrowed culture. If you want to borrow my dress to wear, take my dress entirely and wear. Don't borrow the hand and leave. Don't borrow the left hand and leave the right hand.
Don't you borrow homosexuality?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about we have borrowed democracy, as we call it. And so when you are borrowing the democracy, you should not take part of it, and you are leaving part of the democracy.
That also comes to
no. It's not. I'm not talking about governance here. I'm talking about governance here. Those of the political style administration, they understand what I'm talking about here. It's not that direction. So what am I saying here? People must learn to accord blames and responsibilities where they are due. Because I cannot sit here and say that if we are at war today, or we are in a conflict and things are going wrong, I should not call a leader. There are people who have called Ayabacho, who is the leader of the separatists. He is responsible for this and that and that. Eric Tato is responsible for chopping of hands. Because there were leaders at that time, or leaders now, and so there were certain actions that attributed to them. You will not say, no, it was a soldier who went and did this on the ground that he should be blamed. But the first thing is that there should be shared responsibility. What am I saying here? We cannot sit and find ourselves 7 years plus in a quagmire and we say, no, head of state should not be blamed. It is that he was forced into. No! That is outrageous. It cannot be that I was forced to, because as a leader, first, I have what it takes to decipher what is good and from what is bad. I have technical advisors who can tell me that, no, from what Senior Master Adjutant has proposed, should we take it or not? The advisor are there to tell me. But if they come from different ranks and say, oh, what is your, that's correct, let me engage. It means I should be able to assume the responsibility of the consequences when the need arises. So, in a nutshell, what am I saying? President Paul Biya has the blame of where we are. Let's not talk water in our mouth. That no, it is his friends. It is those who are around him. Mbano. He has a role in it, because if he allowed it to go, he allowed those around him to become wayward. He allowed those who are around him to live on gossip and to take actions based on their personal sentiments. It means he did not judge the matter well, and he's held responsible. That's why I'll come back to the fact that it's true, we don't have the culture of resignation. But if it was in the West, that would have obviously factored in that, no, I see that I was unable to do this, or probably I was deceived on things like that. Okay, let us get somebody who can come in and remedy the situation. How long shall we continue with the quagmire and we keep giving justifications, aligning the blames at different directions, and leaving the center bowl that is responsible for it? Now, I got Senior Barrister Emmanuel, who spoke here a while ago about the fact that it's true. You cannot use arms to solve a problem or to achieve the independence whatsoever we are talking about here. But the question is, have we been able to analyze the actions that, or the action that led to the reaction, and vice versa? Because this is matter. When you talk about conflict resolution, you don't just get in the middle and you start approaching. But the next thing is, how did it start? It is true, Senior Barrister Julius mentioned here, he was giving us an idea of how the crisis started. But was it violent? No. When it started in that kind of peaceful manner, peaceful protest and all the like, was it at the level that it could be addressed? Yes. Was it addressed? No. Now, the people who are holding gun now, in the history you know about English-speaking Cameroonians, have you ever known them as people who are violent in terms of gun and everything? No.
Tribal wars.
No.
Lots of
No, I'm talking about governance system here. I want to move straight to the point. Now, if we look,
if you are talking about, I wanted to bring you.
Bali,
I
Bali.
wanted to bring
I'm talking about tribal wars.
to the mind
Yes.
resistance.
I'm talking about states.
Bafoot
State
resistance.
operational system. I'm talking about state operational system.
When we look at the culture of the people of Northwest
coming.
and Southwest that used to go on, they celebrate.
No, excuse me. I'm coming here on state issues. We are talking about tribal. This is the way I'm talking. People should understand my context, please. Because we want to take another way, you can move out of the context. The Northwest and the Southwest person have never been a violent person in terms of facing the administration by nature. And we have experienced that since Amadou Ahijo, the independence, or like we have been getting something. The Maki issue is different from the West, not so. I'm talking about attacking the state. We have not had that culture.
You are worked out there.
Now, I say attacking the state. I'm talking about something.
To court.
What's that attacking the state? You not have that violent reaction what we had now. I don't know what you analyzing
Okay,
it.
the use of
I'm
physical
talking about violent reaction against the state. We never had that.
Okay.
We had, you could reivindicate, no, it's my right, or you do a small protest. I mean, a violent way up to the hand that guns were already in the hands of people, or in the hands of people. It has never been the culture of the English man as per se.
They burned the police barrack in Bamenda.
You get the point. Now, when we look at this, it has never been the culture. I mean,
I've forgotten.
no, you're talking about coup d'etat.
No.
Which people are talking about?
In whom?
There was a riot in Bamenda. They
Now-
burned the police barracks.
Now let me come clearly to what I'm
Barracks.
saying. Let me come clearly. We could have those minor pocket resistance or minors. It's obvious in any area in the world. Not so. I talk about something that is a culture that these people each time they will reivindicate, they will take this because that's why you yourself said here when we started that. First of all, they had the means. In your return, you will understand that they entered a war that is not prepared or a move that is not prepared because it was not part of them by nature. I repeat again, in taking on the government the way it is now, which means that circumstances push them to that direction, which I'm not justifying why they are there, but I'm saying that as a government structure, you also put in place measures that can prevent you getting into that situation because when you get to it, you find it difficult to control. When we go to Kenya, what is happening there? Issue started in a mild manner. The government tried to solve it in a different manner, only to realize that the method they put in place was not the method to address it before it went offhand. Destruction has happened and things like that. But what I say is that as a government structure, when people have their culture, they don't have that they have that gentleman culture, Anglo-Saxon culture. A gentleman, unless you tell me Anglophones are not gentleman inclined. In their culture, generally, there's that gentleman unit relating with the administrators, whether it's direct rule or indirect rule, but there was that gentleman culture and approach towards them. But what happened that suddenly things went wrong? It's because the appropriate measures at the initial stage were not put in place because things were taken for granted. We mentioned arms here and all the like. Have we asked how did the arms come about? Initially, there were no arms. We understand what happened in Muntengene. You are a journalist here. In the helicopter shooting, when that commotion was all about.
The 1st of October.
Good. Now you realize that along the line, when those things were coming, it was still because the force at that time underestimated the situation, and so thought that it could be forced for that way. Now, in the course of using the force, where they felt that dialogue had failed, and in using that force with live bullets, bam, one person fell, bam. People then now the anger multiplied, and we are now getting to a level where they started using rubber gun, like in Bamenda. When they use rubber gun, the shooting continued. 2-3 people fell down from rubber gun to den gun. People are not giving these stories to Cameroonians. Why do you hide them? Now the people now are taking guns. It's not like initially as things started, as the lawyers and teachers started, they were already prepared to carry guns. They were not ready.
When Mr. Paul Atangani started,
They were not ready, and that's why you find us where we are today. No, excuse me. They were not. They were not ready. And neither you and I here knew that it would be a matter of people carrying AK-47.
No.
None of us never knew that. We just knew that it was a matter of maybe you throw stones, like normal riot, not so. You throw stones to police, they send their tear gas, at the point in time the matter is put under control.
Mr. Faye, you have raised a very important issue, which means that which has always been the confusion between the Anglophone crisis and the Ambazonian crisis. Because in the Anglophone crisis, people were not ready. In the Ambazonian crisis, some people were ready because some people were already being trained in Agokunjam, some people were taken out of in Akwa.
No, I come to correct on that. Even the Ambazonians, the training were not ready. Those things came after this crisis was escalating the event phase. When the rubber guns came and failed, military were shooting. Okay, brutality came in. Cutlasses were even used at the point in time.
The government had information.
No.
That is why.
I am not a level of, I'm talking about what I have here.
We're arrested. No.
That's why when I tell you that you are in an inner circle, you understand things more than you say no. Now you know the government had information. Me, I don't know that they had information, but you know why. You are in an inner core. I am not there. So you have what it takes to tell them, which, on the contrary, your leader colleague is defending you. That's why I said, I don't know where you are meeting. No, but it beats my imagination.
I'll call I'll take a phone and call
So at the end of it, Mr. Jarvis, you now realize that it is true, holding gun is not the solution. But who failed in his responsibility in getting us not to, or helping us not to get to where we are now today? That's where the responsibility comes in. I am surprised that we are in a system whereby people are scared to attribute responsibilities when they fail, but they are quick at the motion of support and supporting for one reason or the other. What we are saying here, we are making lipstick presentation. Because if we tell Yaoundé, please, the truth is that these people have failed. But two wrongs don't make a right. But the truth is that if you're analyzing it like in your inner caucus, you sit there and say, but the truth is that there were some utterances violence that came out from the beginning. We know what elites like you, when the crisis started, their utterances, that instead made things even worse. I know of when they came to a point in time, even education back to school, they had to tell them to pipe low. We said, no, school has to resume now, they can't do anything. Those things were even things that even made the things go worse. Now the rhetoric has changed. You will not get that over, no, come on, the military, you cannot defend the military, this and that. Now there is a shift in the paradigm. And that's what is moving us towards the solution, even though it's still cosmetic, but it's better off as of now. That's why we say that if we employ all these measures on the ground, CRM has spoken earlier long, no to the war in Northwest Southwest, which was taken for, like a joke. But look at where we are today, that you are not sure on the streets. Last Thursday, they were shooting in Bamenda from, it looked like it was coordinated. I don't know how it was done, but you are hearing in Gobogam, you are hearing the same gunshot in Mulang, you are hearing the same gunshot in this area. My phone is boiling. Everybody, around 4 p.m. And it took right to about 7:30.
3 hours, yeah.
Vehicles were taken away, some people were kidnapped and all the like. And some people will tell you that no, still under control. I listened to national media today on one of the popular programs, talk show on the radio. I got the senior division officer of Gogochinja. I know, you see the presentation was like, no, everything is just okay, you know. But it's not as we find it on the ground. That you are going to write GCE and you go to Lebialem, there is no accommodation center in the whole division.
It is in Chang.
It is instead in Chang. You go to Bamenda, councils that are in those troubled areas are operating up to Bamenda, which the senior advisors know here that it is even against the law. It is against the law to run a council area out of another council area jurisdiction. But it's happening. So it's an indication that things are not the way are supposed to be. It means that an urgent call for things to be addressed is required. The genuine dialogue is, what I said here was CPDM monologue coming together. That's why they found it very okay, and they could blow air. No, the government has made a move by calling national dialogue and things like that. But the parameters, the modus operandi of conversation were not the least respected. Who were the key parties involved?
Okay, briefly, I think move to, we'll just briefly talk about the other topic, just briefly. But now, you raised an issue that President Paul Biya should take responsibility. Yeah. And you say, you also say that we have copied democracy from the West, so we should go by the tenet of democracy. President Paul Biya, heeding to the people's call, is it not also part of democracy to say that, okay, I've listened to what you people have said, majority have said that we should deploy troops. If he had refused, wouldn't people have still called him a dictator? Now, you have a point there. When you say majority, you should be able to move on the ground as an investigative journalist. Who are those you call in quotes majority? You're talking about the elite, eh? I'm coming. You said majority are calling. For anybody to call the head of state to stand is a fundamental right. But when you begin to put in politics, you say majority are calling for, you start asking yourself, if we go to Manu, where senior barrister Emmanuel comes from?
Ashu. Emmanuel is not my...
No, sorry. Sorry. I don't know what that name is.
I'm not from England, Master. I'm from Manu. No, I am from Manu. My name is Ashu.
He's afraid to use a tool.
Then use Agbo.
Always clashes. Okay. Always clashes.
All right. Whatever the case, look at that caucus that was put up. Now, if you say people, cocoa farmers in Manu, that's all, are thanking the head of state and they wish him to go in and ask how many of those cocoa farmers were there in real terms. Because this is where you start analyzing democracy. Democracy is not for you to gather 5 persons, they cook up a list, and then start saying that we have said.
Okay.
It's a matter of, it doesn't work with the majority. If not, then there's a problem there.
Let me put you in focus. On the 1st of October 2018, that was, we had MPs in Yaoundé as Post Central celebrating the unity of Cameroon. That was on the 1st of October. The same time, we are also having people in the northwest and southwest
celebrating the independence of Southern
Cameroon. The same time, two different images. Now, we don't know majority of government officials who are telling the state that it's time to deploy military.
No, when you say majority, not so.
Within the
Parliamentarians.
They said so. They said so.
No, they said so, not so.
They took the
when you talk about majority, as I said, everybody has the way it's moving. But you now realize that the democracy on the African continent now goes with some adjustments to suit the African context. Culture. That's the reality. That's why the LGBT will not go freely as you think, but it will easily go that way. Culture of resignation, which is part of democratic principle, is there. That if I make an error, I deem myself having failed the people who relied on me, I simply resign and let another person take over. Now, we don't have those parameters here. But on the aspect of people saying the head of state should stand, or should even they be there till thy kingdom come, they have a fundamental right. The question now is, how logical is it for the people who put in quotes the elite? How many of them are there? How many cocoa farmers were involved? This is where we start analyzing that, because it gives us room for analysis, which we don't have time today, but we'll have another time to find out who were those who were involved in it. If you call 2, 3, 4, 6 cocoa farmers, those are the average level. Were they also informed? Some will tell them, no, we only brought a document to sign. And some will tell them, no, I saw it, I did not sign. And then I said, no, the president signed, or the treasurer of the association signed.
You have still not answered my question.
Yeah.
My question is, okay, let me just put it now in context. Members of parliament were voted by the people. They received the people's vote to represent their voice. These people, after having also received the voice of the people, went and said, Mr. President, head of state, commander-in-chief of the armed force, you are the commander-in-chief, deploy military to the northwest and southwest region. Now, is President Pobia say, okay, this is democracy, let me go to what people have said. You people have called it. If he had refused, will people not say he's a dictator?
No.
Now that he has accepted,
let me answer you that there is first of all an error that as a leader, you sit here assuming that you are in charge of my media prime, and people come and tell you that please deploy people to cover a story here now in this place. You don't fact check, you don't carry on fact checking methods. You just sit and endorse because people came and stood there and say, my media prime, please cover the story at Mbopi. It's really an error your as a leader, because when people come to you, first, you have the prerogative and the sense of judgment to decipher. That's why I told you that presidency is like a country in a country. Because at that unit, you'll be surprised that to be a president in a country does not mean that you are super. You can be president sitting here. Why? Because the structure will be made in such a way that you have all the persons in the different units who can assist you. Security unit is there, town planning is there, this one is there, and everything. So at the end of it, what you are saying does not mean that when it comes, you must not execute. Because first, you are not a president, you are also a politician. You get the point. If they tell me that, okay, wipe out people in the northwest, for example, you will not go wipe them, because you have to look at it as a politician, not only a president but a politician. Will I need them someday? If I need them someday now, I'll tell the president, no, hold on a bit. Let's use a different approach. As a president, you are not obliged that when people come en masse, tell you do this, you start executing. It means you failed in your duties woefully.
Senior barrister, the issue of PTA has been reinstated by the minister.
Yes, there's so many points which I think need a reply.
The issue is we are out of time.
No. At least let the two of us answer, because
briefly. So that maybe
let them defend themselves.
We'll take the topic next week.
You know, anyway, I don't like to cry over spilled milk all the time. What has happened in Cameroon has happened. But I think after fighting, after misunderstandings, there's always a time for us to come together to reconcile and see the way forward. All those started to cut people's heads, to kill children, to spill blood. To me, that is out of place. That time has passed. And all of us have to think of what do we do. First and foremost, if you notice, all bilingual schools that are in the Francophone zone are functional. And if you go and find out who owns them, you now understand that this country has a setup that if you don't know how to manage it, balance it, you always find yourself into problems. Those schools that are open don't have an interest for any educational facility to function west of the Mongo. You should understand that too. Because of the exodus and the will of part of the Francophones to attend Anglophone-based education and has been killed. So I want to encourage them to come back to those schools that are this way doing bilingual education, which means, as I said from the beginning, our education industry is being destroyed in front of our faces, and with us being part of the destruction. So we have to rethink our minds to make sure that that industry, which was the best in that zone, will be rekindled, refurbished, re-established, so that we can still knock our chests and say we had an English culture which is better than French culture. Because we do, whether we like it or not, now our French is spoiling our English, and our English is spoiling our French. At times we have that reflex of speaking French to English like that without getting any problem. But you know, when once you're communicating with some other person, it confuses that person better. So I think it is high time. Though people didn't, somebody like my brother here didn't appreciate the national dialogue, but those forums are supposed to be continuous. Those forums where people will meet and chat and discuss are supposed to be continuous. Why people watch TV? Because we still discuss those problems, and the people see it and they think about it and to get a better solution. And everybody now is adamant that, look, we don't need arms. So those carrying arms should drop it. You can blame President Biya as you like. Fine, he's the president of the country, he bears the responsibility, he can bear the brunt. But he has said to every Cameroonian, you don't need a gun to express yourself in Cameroon. Those who in the bush is carrying guns, drop your guns and come and let's talk. Because you cannot force your ideology on somebody, even by using the gun.
We are really out of time, eh?
Yes. So we are praying for peace. I don't want to react, but I don't want to put flame into conflict. I want to quench the fire.
If I see he does not understand the two of you today, senior by
Yeah, thank you. Now, you see, he raised a number of issues that need to be addressed. First of all, because I saw him trying to misinterpret what I said, trying to give the impression that I was saying that the president is not responsible for declaring the war. Now, I want the public to understand that I am not in any way trying to disculpate the president, because we need to be reminded that our constitution, our parliamentarians voted a constitutional amendment to the effect that nothing that president does can amount to any criminal offense. Yes. Thank you. Yes. So I'm a lawyer. I am conscious of that, and because of that, I cannot try to disculpate him. Whatever you say, you cannot have him prosecuted. So it is needless for anybody to try to disculpate him. I was just simply stating facts. Cameroonians should be responsible.
Whether you like the thing or not,
we should be responsible for our acts. Our people went down and called on the president to send troops to our area,
and our people to ask other people to carry guns.
Yes. So you cannot be saying that you want peace when you in a near past ask that there should be war. So what is making you now to change? What is making you to change? You want to change? Let that change be genuine. Now we are facing a national lockdown, because when I hear the two of them, there is something wrong.
So you still don't understand the two of them?
No, I understand them. I hear them, I understand them well.
Now you two don't understand.
I understand them well. You see, he says that it is bandits.
He says it's a mix that you cannot for sure.
Yes, but those bandits cause the death of people every day.
For money.
Every day. We don't need.
I know for independence.
We don't know whether it's for money or for anything.
We're out of time. Just
yes, they cause the death of those people
for money.
All right.
Not for independence. It's simple.
Now, why are we here? We are here because the government committed 4 big mistakes. The first one, they arrested the members of the consortium, who were the people's mouthpiece, and forced them. Please, don't worry.
They voted you.
Don't bother. They arrested the members of the consortium, who were the people's mouthpiece. Secondly, please let me finish.
Don't put me inside.
Okay, let me finish. Secondly, the people of diaspora, Ayuktabe and others, who took over from the consortium, they elected themselves. They took over from the consortium. They were also arrested. Now those 2 arrests caused the emergence of a very violent generation of warlords, which we are facing. You can see them. That violent generation. Then the other error is to send the army to warriors, because, like you were saying, our people are not. They are not violent people, but we are warriors. The Ejagam people defeated the Germans. These are things that people don't tell you. The Ejagam people defeated the Germans at Nsangaragati and Sanakang. The white man will cover that part. I will not. The Bakweri people.
Where war battle was falling.
Bakweri people also defeated them up the mountain there.
Cover the Kenya.
Cover. You see, so you cannot.
You have the
thank you. You don't carry war to warriors. Don't carry war to warriors. I want the government on that, on the Equinox television when this thing happens.
So the army they were not.
No, you see, I said
the army they were not.
The last mistake government has made was that when the problems they came to the table, now they brought the cosmetic solutions, not real solutions. Those are 4 mistakes that you made.
Maybe some other time we'll look at.
Please bring us together some other time, please.
4 key mistakes so we can analyze. Yes, 4 key mistakes made by the government.
The government was in his mouth.
And also 4 key mistakes made by the people, because it will always be balanced. The people to also follow carry out arms. We cannot.
They were forced to carry out.
Whether forced or not. Forced. Thank you for every time.
Next time you skip your wife and have a pregnancy.
Thank you very much for the program today.
I don't understand the 2 guys.
No, I don't understand them at the point.
I don't understand the 2 of them.
You know that sometimes they tend to move towards their core. Then they isolate some of us. They tend to agree somewhere and then at another line, but it could be a jigsaw puzzle game where they're all politicians. As a matter of fact, thanks very much for coming. Greetings to the people of Gunoko village as usual, and I think that to the party militants of the CRM who are still in the detention centers, all is that the exercise of registering, I think it went on well. We want to thank the Director General of Elekam, who decided to extend to midnight instead of 2 p.m. because of the people they saw. I said 48 hours, I was in my village. 52 hours I was in Yaoundé, and I saw the way people were queuing up at the different. So it was quite good. So, but I think it will not be business as usual, because Senior Barrister Arthur Gilos should be enjoying their last mandate and their last time now, because we will unseat them and put the right things on track. Thank you, Senior Barrister Gilos, for coming.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And I'm happy with how the civil debate, which is very enriching. I hope they'll be next time.
Yes, for 4 key mistakes. Of course, Senior Barrister Ashu, you know, when the 2 of you are always
he's Ashu, the one is Ashu.
He's a man.
We want to wish you a very, very big happy birthday yesterday, and we pray that may Allah, in His infinite mercy, the creator of both heavens, the most compassionate, continues to be with you and grant you many, many more years.
He's taking us now for celebration. I'm not mentioning that one.
So thank you and happy. Thank you, Desmond, for your production. Thank you, Legend. And this program comes out every Sunday exactly 12 to 1:30. Rebroadcast today at 10:30 p.m. And of course, I want to say happy Sunday to you, Mr. Nyam Robert, in the United States of America, and your wife Joan. No matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter is that take the round of next week Sunday. Until we meet again, stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.